Two Wants to Know is giving you the info that you need. We're talking all things election related, including why do you get so many political texts and calls even when you're on the do not call list? Let's start though with what is happening right now, and that is early voting. It is on all throughout North Carolina. Early voting happens in every county through November 2nd. You can register to vote and vote on the same day during this early voting time. Now, early voting sites, they are not the same as your election day voting sites, so you're going to want to check with your county board of elections for locations. Let's talk absentee voting. The very last day to request an absentee ballot is October the 29th. And election day is also the deadline day for absentee ballots. I want you to take a look at the date there. This is really key. These absentee ballots must be received to the Board of Elections office by close of business day on November 5th, which means you need to either drop them off in person or you need to mail them with a lot of time to spare.
Encourage the voting public to mail early if they choose to vote by mail, and to put their returned ballot back in the mail at least 7 days before it must be back to their election official under the laws of the state where they are voting.
In North Carolina, you need to prove your identity with a picture ID to vote. What kind of photo ID is acceptable? Let's take a look at the long list. Here's what's being accepted: a North Carolina driver's license, a state ID from the NCDMV, U.S. passport or a passport card, a North Carolina voter photo ID card, a college student ID, state or local government ID, a military or veterans ID card. You can use a tribal enrollment card or an ID card with a photo issued by any agency of the U.S. government. Now, if you do vote absentee, you need to make a photocopy of your ID and you're going to mail it in with your ballot. Now, this is key where you put the photocopy, right? Because you got all these envelopes. Well, this envelope is the one that you are going to use. You're going to place the ballot inside this part, which you can't see through, okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to take this little film right here, and that is where you are going to put your photo ID. So this is the clear section. We're going to keep you going through this whole absentee ballot thing and take you step by step to make sure that you know that your absentee ballot is being sent in correctly. But first, we're going to answer a few of those election-related questions that you've been asking. Two Wants to Know researched and asked the experts about your election-related questions. So here goes. A viewer sent in this text question right here. I recently read that if someone marks on your ballot before handing it to you, that you should request a new unmarked ballot. Is this a fact, and why even the mark?
There's a misconception. I'm not sure where that came from. In North Carolina and in Guilford County, poll workers will mark your ballot. It may be the precinct, it may be something with your ballot style designation. There are some other designators we have to put on ballots for our chain of custody and certain other auditing procedures. So we will mark something on your ballot, and it will count.
The North Carolina Board of Elections recently addressed this issue. The headline on the page: fact. In North Carolina, if an election worker writes on your ballot, it does not invalidate it. In the Post, the markings are explained. Election workers write on ballots for certain reasons required by law. Identifying numbers on ballots by mail and early voting. In certain counties, the precinct is written on the ballot as well. Here's another common question. Are political campaign texts legal? Yep, that's the short answer. It's yes. They are, even if you are on that do not call list. Here's a long list from the Federal Communications Commission about all the rules for those kinds of calls and texts. The FCC says texts to mobile phones are allowed if an actual person types in your number. But if it's a robo-text, an automated text, then you have to give prior consent in order to be texted. Right now you're thinking to yourself, there is no way that I would give consent to all these political texts. But chances are you did. Here's how.
If you've used your number in any type of online ordering or any type of marketing or any type of social media platform, those simple end user agreements may have in fine print that they may also share your phone number with other service providers.
Call blocking service RoboKiller says in 2022, Americans received a record 15 billion political texts, an average of 50 messages for every phone in our country. Well, here's a bright spot in all this. The FCC says the caller must honor your request to revoke consent. And you can do that by replying "stop" to a text or asking not to be called again when you get a voice call. Now, I'm not saying it will in fact stop all the calls and texts, but this is at least something that you can do. Now, I want to show you this. When you put this outside your front door, you probably were not thinking of election season. A viewer wrote into 2 Wants to Know asking, can people solicit politicians by going door to door? A person rang my bell last week and today left flyers asking me to vote for a person running for president. Well, the short answer to this is yes, they can. It is covered under First Amendment, free speech.
That is legal, and it's called canvassing, and pretty much every candidate does it, because even if you don't speak to somebody, you want to leave a flyer, you want to leave a message there, you want to let them know that you were in the neighborhood because you want their vote.
Well, what if you have a no soliciting sign on your door? Remember, political canvassing isn't selling anything. It's not commercial. So a political, religious, or community visit is absolutely legal.
It's free speech. You know, they're taking the risk. I teach a campaign class, and I've had students say they've been greeted by people with a gun, greeted by people in their underwear.
Yipes. All right. So if you really want to keep all people from coming up your walkway and knocking on your door, a no trespassing sign is what you'll need to do for that trick. Okay, now it's time. Get your absentee ballot packet out and take out all the pieces and the parts, and there are a number of them. There is a 3-page instruction booklet, but sometimes you just need someone to take you step by step and show you what to do and how to avoid mistakes.
This is the first envelope. There's going to be 2 envelopes the voter's going to deal with right now. Okay, so the first envelope, this is where their ballot goes inside. It's a white envelope. It can't be seen through. The ballot gets filled out and put inside here. This also is paperwork they have to fill out. This is where the voter's going to sign it. This is where they're going to have 2 witnesses. So 2 witnesses need to print their name, put down their full address, and sign. Both witnesses have to do that, and that's a requirement. Or if you don't have 2 witnesses, you can get a notary. Then that photocopy of your ID or the yellow exception form, it's going to go in this clear sleeve on the outside, so the Board of Elections staff can view it or grab that very easily. But a common mistake here is people will fill this form out really nicely, so they won't put their ballot inside this envelope. They put their ballot inside this envelope. That's a no-no also, and we need to make sure that doesn't happen. The ballot goes inside this envelope with all your writing on it. The ID portion goes in the clear sleeve, and just that singular document, that singular envelope goes inside this big envelope. It's a security issue. It's chain of custody. It's staff handles these ballots. Staff has to check to make sure that it's the right voter. Staff has to make sure that the witnesses are done correctly. The ID is provided. All of these envelopes have a seal, and it's the kind you got to lick or use a sponge or glue. But yeah, they all have to be sealed and sealed. We do get them back often where the ballot is loose in here, or it's in here and it's not sealed, and there's issues when that ballot comes back, and the Board of Elections has to vet that, and it may not be approved as easily or at all.
And if you're mailing your absentee ballot, the postage is $1.77. Don't want to pay that postage? You don't have to. You can hand deliver your absentee ballot to an early voting site. Not an election day precinct, but an early voting site. Or you can take it to your county board of elections anytime. Now, what if you don't remember if you're registered or where you vote on election day, or maybe you just want a sample ballot? You can look it all up. It's free and it's easy. You're going to use the voter search tool. You can find this on the North Carolina Board of Elections website. You simply type in your name, the county that you live in, and it will give you your voting history and the information that you need. Remember, Election Day is November the 5th. WFMY News 2 will have extensive coverage on WFMY Plus, on TV, and online at WFMYnews2.com.